Hey everyone, ready to hit the road. Today we're taking a deep dive into a guide all about Norwegian weather.
Perfect timing. I hear our listener is planning an epic self-drive trip through Norway.
Yep, stunning fjords, charming villages, those winding mountain roads. It's a dream trip for sure.
Absolutely. But as anyone who's been to Norway knows, packing for that trip, that can be a little bit tricky.
Understatement of the year.
Oh, wait.
Okay, so this guide dives deep into Norwegian weather, which is, shall we say, a bit unpredictable, right?
Oh, yeah, you can definitely say that again. But that's part of the adventure, isn't
It's
it?
true.
Mm.
So let's break it down for our listener. The guide mentions 4 distinct seasons, but I have a feeling it's not your average spring, summer, fall, winter kind of thing.
You're right on the money. It's Norway's location and geography that make all the difference. You see, those dramatic landscapes, they create these microclimates, so the weather can change drastically depending on where you are and when.
Microclimates. Okay, that explains why packing for Norway can feel like you're prepping for 5 different trips at once.
Haha, exactly. It's all about being prepared for anything. So where do you want to start?
Let's start with winter. The guide paints this picture of a snow-covered paradise, but it also mentions temperatures that could practically freeze your eyeballs.
It's true. Up in the mountains, you could easily be looking at minus 20 degrees Celsius.
Brr. Okay, note to self, pack that extra warm hat.
Definitely. And a good pair of gloves. Now, down in the cities like Oslo, it might be a bit milder, maybe around -5 to +2 degrees.
Okay, slightly less terrifying. But still, it sounds like layers, layers, layers are essential no matter where you are.
Oh, absolutely. Thermal underwear is your best friend. And a scarf. A really cozy scarf. Think you're ready for an Arctic expedition, even if you're just planning on strolling around a city.
Got it. Packing like I'm going to the North Pole. But honestly, all that snow, the frozen fjords, the crisp winter air, I can see the appeal.
Oh, it's magical. And don't forget, winter is prime time for seeing the northern lights. Clear, cold nights are perfect for those dazzling displays.
Okay, now you're talking. Skiing, dog sledding, the northern lights. Maybe those freezing temps are worth it after all.
Totally worth it. All right, where to next?
Okay, let's thaw out a bit and talk spring. The guide mentions skiing in March and blooming gardens in May. It sounds like spring in Norway has a bit of an identity crisis.
You know, it's more like a gradual awakening, especially in the mountains. Up high, the snow melts slowly, revealing those amazing hiking trails bit by bit. Down in the south, things warm up a bit faster, and by May, you might even be ditching those heavy coats.
So what's the magic temperature range we're looking at for spring? The guide says pack clothes for all occasions, which sounds like a packing nightmare.
Haha, yeah, that can be a bit overwhelming. Think of it this way. You might start your day with a crisp morning hike, maybe around 5 degrees.
Okay, not too bad.
Right. But then, as you drive toward the coast, the sun breaks through, and by afternoon, bam! You're enjoying a picnic lunch in a t-shirt at a comfortable 15 degrees.
Okay, I'm starting to get it. Flexibility is key.
Exactly. You've got to be prepared for anything in Norway.
Makes sense. So let's talk summer. The land of the midnight sun. This is something I've always wanted to experience. What's it actually like?
Imagine cruising along a fjord, the sun still high in the sky even though it's like 10 p.m. It feels like you have all the time in the world. That's the magic of the midnight sun. In certain parts of Norway, especially above the Arctic Circle, the sun never actually sets below the horizon in summer.
Whoa, that is mind-blowing. Okay, long days, endless exploration. But what about the heat? Does the midnight sun bring midnight heat waves?
Not exactly. Summer temperatures can vary a lot, even with all that daylight. In Oslo in the south, you might see some warm days reaching a pleasant 25 degrees Celsius.
Sounds perfect.
It is. But as you head further north, it tends to be a bit cooler, maybe around 10 to 15 degrees on average.
Okay, so layers are still a good idea even in summer, just in case. What about rain? The guide mentions showers even during August.
Oh yeah, rain is a constant companion in Norway, no matter the season. Think of it this way. A lightweight, packable rain jacket. It's like your insurance policy against those sudden downpours.
Right. You never know when those clouds might roll in.
Exactly. So we've covered winter, spring, and summer. Ready for autumn.
Hit me with those autumn vibes. I'm picturing those iconic forests ablaze with color.
Oh, you got it. Autumn in Norway is a spectacle of color, that's for sure. But be prepared for some rain. Autumn is definitely the wettest season, and those temperatures start to dip as well.
So back to those layers again.
Yep. Imagine this. You're driving through a valley in September. The air is a crisp 15 degrees. leaves crunching under your tires.
Sounds perfect.
Right. But then as you climb higher into the mountains, you might find it's closer to 0 degrees by November.
Whoa, that's a big difference. So layering is key as autumn progresses, and I'm guessing those shorter days mean we need to be mindful of driving times too.
Absolutely. Those sunsets come earlier and earlier as winter approaches. You definitely want to plan your routes accordingly.
Noted. Okay, this guide also has a whole section on packing, which I'm ready to dive into.
Oh, it's packed with great advice, and it really emphasizes the cabbage style of dressing for Norway.
Cabbage style.
Yeah, think of it like building your outfit in layers so you can adapt to anything.
Kind of like those delicious Norwegian pastries.
Haha, exactly. And of course, waterproof gear is non-negotiable no matter what time of year you're visiting.
For sure. This guide even mentions that good footwear is super important, whether you're hiking mountain trails or just walking around those charming cobblestone streets.
Okay, back to the packing list. There's one thing here that caught my eye.
hmm
Sunglasses, even in winter. Isn't that a bit strange?
I know, right? It seems counterintuitive.
Well, here's the thing. Snow can act like a giant reflector, amplifying the sunlight. So sunglasses are actually super important, even in winter, to protect your eyes from glare and potential snow blindness.
Who knew packing for Norway was such an art form?
Right. It's all about balance, being prepared for anything without overpacking. Remember, layers, a good rain jacket, and a sense of adventure are your secret weapons for tackling Norwegian weather.
Speaking of the unexpected, what would you say is the biggest misconception people have about Norwegian weather?
That's a good question. I think a lot of people assume that Norway is perpetually cold and snowy, which isn't entirely true.
Right, because of those microclimates we talked about.
Exactly. And, summer in the south can be surprisingly warm and sunny. It's all about doing your research and packing accordingly.
I was really fascinated by the section about the Gulf Stream's influence on Norway's climate. Who knew a current of warm water could have such a major impact on a country's weather?
It's pretty incredible, right? That warm water travels all the way from the Gulf of Mexico across the Atlantic, keeping Norway's coastal areas much milder than you'd expect.
And there was one more thing in the guide that I thought was super helpful.
What's that?
It emphasizes checking road conditions before setting out on your drive, especially in winter and spring, which, for a self-drive trip, is crucial.
Oh, absolutely. You don't want to get caught off guard by a sudden snowstorm or, even worse, hit a patch of black ice.
Nope, not the kind of adventure we're looking for. So it's all about being prepared, checking those weather forecasts and road reports.
Safety first. Let's talk about those iconic Norwegian roads and the incredible experiences that await along the way.
Absolutely. Let's hit the road. Virtually, of course.
Of course. Buckle up. It really is. And it's not just the rain you need to think about. It's those sudden shifts in weather that make a rain jacket so important. One minute you're in sunshine and the next, whoosh, the wind picks up and the rain comes pouring down.
Talk about a quick change.
Struck by how much we've actually covered. We started with Norwegian weather, but we've talked about geography, culture, even a little philosophy about embracing the unexpected. Get ready for an unforgettable adventure.
Pack your bags, grab your map, and hit the open road. Norway is waiting.
Safe travels, and don't forget to share your stories with us when you get back.
Until then, happy travels, everyone.